Welcome everybody to the Lion Node class. We're in step 2. Everything in the meeting will be recorded so that way you can refer back to it if you need to. And of course, we will also have office hours available for Gina and I from November 5th to the 11th. So if you're having any issues with tools or getting yourself situated and set up, you can reach out to us so that way we can meet up with you and make sure that you're ready to rock and roll when class starts. Our agenda tonight is going to be covering your class, your tools, student expectations, and your resources available to you. Most of you already know, but in case you're new, I am the Academic and Student Experience Director. I kind of serve as like a registrar for getting you all in and out of classes and handle a lot of the behind the scenes organizational administrative things for classes. Gina, your wonderful cohort leader that you'll hear from in just a second, is kind of like your department head. So she helps with administrative things for your class, as well as being technically knowledgeable, whereas you don't want to ask me any questions about Node because whoosh. And then, of course, you'll have group mentors, one-on-one mentors, and assignment reviewers in your class that will serve as like your teacher or teacher's assistants, and they will be able to help you out with all of those technical questions. So definitely reach out to mentors if you have I need help with this concept. Reach out to each other if it's like, what week are we on? Where do I find? And reach out to Gina or myself for pretty much anything else. Okay, so meeting the cohort leaders. Gina's role as your cohort leader is to oversee all of the students in your class. Your class is small enough that we don't need to have multiple sections. So all of you get Gina, which is a beautiful thing. She'll be in touch with you if you fall behind in class to be able to make sure you're getting the resources you need to stay on track, making sure you have a plan to catch up. She is a great resource if you need help with anything non-technical, but she also is extremely technically knowledgeable too. And best preferred method of contact is direct message on Slack usually. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Miss Gina for her to tell you a little bit about herself.
Hey everyone, I'm so glad to see familiar faces and names. I'm really excited for this new cohort. We're gonna definitely get rolling soon. But yes, reach out to me with any technical questions you have, uh, any question at all. There's no question that is dumb because everyone else is probably struggling with the same thing. And sometimes we need a reminder about dates or when is this or what is this in a lesson. Just reach out to me, and I can help you right away. Yes, the best way to reach out to me is on Slack. I check the emails periodically, but if you need me right away, definitely reach out to me on Slack.
Perfect. Thanks, Gina. Okay, and then our next fun little activity is for you all to be able to meet the rest or part of your class by meeting each other. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and pause recording. We're going to Okay, welcome back from your breakout rooms. Hopefully you made a new friend or two, or got to see some old friends since many of you are coming back from the React class. So now that you met your classmates, we're going to dive right into demoing your tools. A lot of these will be old hat or refreshers for many of you, but in case you're returning to us from a hiatus or in case you're new, then we'll cover them anyway, just to be sure. So those of you who are like, oh yeah, I already know everything she's talking about, you can tune me out for a little bit if you want to. Okay, the tools you're going to use for class are your Zoom for mentor group sessions, CTD Learns app for your lessons and assignments, Slack for communicating within your class and within the Code the Dream program, and then GitHub for your coding assignments. Hopefully none of those are like, what is she talking about? This is completely new to me, but if they are, we're going to go over them right now. Okay, first some little interactivity just to be able to wake us all up since we all have a case of the yawns. Then we're going to go ahead and play with our Zoom a little bit right now. As you can see, in case you're unfamiliar with Zoom or not on it terribly often and you want a refresher of how all of these things work, your control buttons for Zoom are going to be along the bottom of your desktop screen there. If you're on mobile, they'll still be at the bottom of your screen. You'll just have to swipe left or right to see some of them. The very first two are always your audio to control your microphone, turn it on and off, and then your video to control your camera to turn it on and on, on and on, on and off. So we're going to do some little Simon Says and play a little bit with our Zoom. I'm going to unpin myself so that way I can see you all. Go ahead and turn your cameras on and off. If you're somewhere where you don't want to be seen, just cover your camera up with your thumb before you turn your camera on and off. We don't want to catch anybody in the bathroom or anything like that. Perfect. I'm seeing cameras pop on and off. This is wonderful. And I've seen all your beautiful faces. I love that too. All right, now that we've played with our cameras, let's play with our microphones. Go ahead and unmute yourselves and just say hello, sing a song, make a funny noise, whatever you want to do.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Love it.
Hello.
Yay. All right, that's awesome. Thank you all for entertaining me. I always feel like a presentation's a little bit more interesting when there's some interactivity. All right, I'm going to mute you all back. So if you do have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask as we're going through the rest of this. Okay, so we did audio, we did video. Let's take a look at reactions. So there's a little heart icon that's just over from your video by a few items, or scroll over if you're on mobile, and put up any kind of effect, reaction, whatever you want to do. These are beautiful. I love these. Also, when you're in that React, notice that you have a raise hand option. You're welcome to use that now or in your mentor sessions if you have questions that come up. There's also a go faster or slow down button there. So feel free to utilize those when you're in your mentor sessions. It has captions that you can turn on and off if you need to. And then there's a green rectangle that says share with an up arrow in it. If you need to share screen when you're in a mentor session, oh, I love the little ghost. Thank you. If you need to share a screen when you're in a session to be able to show what errors you're getting or demonstrate anything like that, click the share button just so it opens the modal, but don't actually share your screen with us. And take a look at that pop-up for a minute. You'll see that you can share entire screens if you have multiple monitors you're working with. You can share individual application windows, like just your browser, just your music app, things like that. Or you can also share like individual tabs usually as an option on there. If you want to also be sharing your computer sound, then there's options to the right for that. So lots of good things within that modal for you to be able to share whatever you need to. I am going to go ahead and continue sharing our presentation so that way we can keep going with that. But familiarize yourself with Zoom. You'll be using it weekly for your group sessions or for, other sessions that you might have. Feel free to take a look further into it if there's anything like that that you're interested in. Oh, did I just lock up? Hold on, I'm getting a spinning wheel of death here. Yep, just a minute. I hope my internet didn't just go out. Oh, you're killing me, computer. Are you all able to see my screen at all, or it's just black, Gina? Do you know?
We can see it. It's
Oh,
on the
good.
Zoom. Yep.
Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you, because my Zoom is like getting all kinds of crazy over here. And like it's not even letting me select my other applications on my machine. So we'll see what happens. Okay, moving right along. Hopefully it will still let me share. You should now see the CTD Learns app slide. Okay, perfect.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, we'll keep powering through the technical difficulties. All right, so the CTD Learns app, a lot of you are already familiar with. In case you are new to class, the Learns app houses all of your lessons, your coding assignments, as well as some additional resources. I'm going to give you a quick tour of that now, assuming everything behaves itself. All right, so you log into the Learns app by using your GitHub as your authentication. So when you first go to classes.codethedream.org, which I'm going to try and put in the chat. And of course, it doesn't let me open the chat window in Zoom. So Gina, perhaps if you could put it in there, it's classes.codethedream.org. If you don't mind popping that up in the chat for folks. You should be able to log in with your GitHub. It'll take you to your dashboard when you first log in. If you've done multiple classes with us, then you'll be able to select an old class if you want to look back at old curriculum, or make sure that you're in the proper class for whatever you're supposed to be doing. I'm curious if it's going to have, oh good, it has the line class in there now. Woohoo! So you'll see your class starts November 5th. That first week of class, you don't have any coding assignments. It's just getting yourself adjusted and acclimated to everything. You can take a look at your course content as early as November 3rd, as you see here. When a class is in session, then you'll have extra widgets in there. So for example, you'll have the 3 most recent assignments you've turned in, and if they've been approved or if they're pending review, that kind of a thing. We are still working on expanding this widget to give you more information than just those 3 assignments. So please bear with us. Hopefully that'll be something coming during your class, but if not, at least it gives you some context of are my most recent assignments in and checked. You can always reach out to Gina or myself if you need confirmation on things like that. It gives you a preview of the schedule as far as what's going on right now and what's upcoming. So you can quickly jump to those lessons. And then the profile section, these links will not be grayed out. They will be active for you to be able to use. So you can join the group mentor session Zoom calls by clicking that button or that link. Announcement and discussion takes you to the Slack announcement and discussion channels for your Lion class. Email will open up an email message for you to be able to send to Gina at the lion@codethedream.org email address in case you need it. And then mentor session sheet will take you to where we have the table that lets you know when the group mentor sessions are in Slack. So lots of helpful information on the dashboard. Courses will let you take a look at other courses that you've had. So it'll let you kind of pop back into old curriculum if you need to, or you can jump into your current curriculum. And then the resources tab covers information about the apprenticeship, about class resources like supplemental learning materials or Git processes. And then the career development section, you can also peruse anytime. You don't have to wait until class is over. It has helpful information about like updating your resume, writing cover letters, job searching techniques, things like that. So feel free to look at that if you're in the job hunt right now and want to take a look at any of that information in your spare time. So that's your dashboard, courses, resources, options. If any of you are also helping in a mentor capacity with the intro class for assignment review or mentorship, you can toggle between your roles by clicking on your name and selecting mentor instead. And so that would change what your menu looks like if you're mentor instead of student. And if you have accessibility features and need to go into dark mode, then we have dark mode and light mode that you can toggle between. Okay, once you have the course up and running, then you'll have access to your class calendar, general information about, submitting assignments and GitHub, helpful cheat sheets and things like that, student handbook, the final project rubric. And then of course you have your class broken down by different sections and what the topics are within those sections. Your calendar here will tell you what the week number is, when it starts, and when the assignment is due for that week, and then a link to your actual lesson page. I do want to highlight you all have 2 holiday weeks this term. Woohoo! Time off of classes. Nice. Your Thanksgiving break is going to happen during week 3. That's going to be November 26th to December 2nd. And then your winter break is going to be December 24th to December 30th. Don't expect mentor sessions during those times. You don't have a new lesson during those times. So please enjoy yourselves, enjoy your family and friends and loved ones during those times. Or if you do need to catch up, then you have a little bit of breathing room to do any catch up if you need or want to. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Jumping into a lesson. All of the lessons are going to be broken out by like a short learning objective, just to kind of give you an idea. This is what is happening this week. Lesson materials. If you see any errors like this, it's a video that isn't able to be viewed within the app. So just click the link on the video and it'll redirect you to YouTube so you can watch the video content there. Sometimes we have like screenshots or things like that as helpful information within your content. So read through all of your lesson materials for your lesson. Your coding assignment information is going to be posted in the assignment section and with a reminder of your due date. So follow your instructions carefully, make sure you check your work. And then there's a mindset assignment at the bottom. All of these will be identical to what you've seen before. They might be in a different order, but all of our mindset content is the same from course to course. So approach it from where you are now with the newfound knowledge that you have. Has anything changed about how you problem solve? Has anything changed about how you debug? So feel free to look over it again and then answer the journal questions from your new perspective. For those of you that are returning, anybody that's new, this will be new content to you. And the mindset assignment information is not coding specific. It's just sort of general skills that help programmers, like debugging techniques, asking for help, things of that nature, growth mindset, all of that good stuff. So when you're ready to turn in your assignment, you'll use the continue to submission form it will open up an assignment submission form and it should pre-fill some information for you. So I highly recommend using the link that's on your lesson page to be able to get to your assignment submission form to turn in your work. You'll paste the link to your work, share any questions with your reviewer about anything that you're turning in that you might need answered. Your mindset responses will go there. And then we ask for some additional data just to help us kind of gauge our classes and see, are they too heavy in one area, too light in another area, all that good stuff. Okay. And we're back. All right, good. This is wonderful. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Thank you all for your patience. I really appreciate that. Okay. So then let me kind of recap just in case. Gina was talking to you about how your dashboard will wind up looking. We do have the course calendar, which I'll jump to really quick here. There we are. So it gives you an idea of, when weeks are happening, when they're due. These are all your links to your lesson pages. Did you all hear about having 2 breaks during this class because of holidays? Yes. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right. So did you get to the part with the lesson pages? Have we gotten through that part?
Not yet.
No. Okay, wonderful. All right, now I know where we left off. Boy, I was just over here yammering too, like y'all were frozen and all right, we're good. Learning objectives will let you know what the highlight is for that particular week. Lesson materials, if you see any errors like this for videos, clicking the link will redirect you to YouTube so that way you can watch the video. It depends on whether or not the user permits embedding or not for their videos. So feel free to use the link to jump to any content you need to. Coding assignment will be listed at the bottom here with any instructions for what you should be doing for your coding assignment for the week. And then mindset assignment is below. Mindset assignment is not coding specific. It's just programmatic, helpful skills and tips like how to debug or information literacy or problem solving strategies, things of that variety. When you're ready to, click the continue to submission form button at the bottom of your lesson page. And it pulls up your form and pre-fills which lesson you're submitting. I think it also pre-fills your name and class to be able to help save you a couple of steps. And paste in the link to your work. Share any questions that you have with your reviewer so that way they are aware if you have questions about what you're turning in. Your mindset response answers will go here. And then we just ask for the usual additional data. So feel free to fill in any required items or items you'd like to share feedback on there and submit, and then you're good to go from that point on. Your reviewers will take a look at your work and respond back to you. You'll likely see pull request comments as your feedback. At the start of the class, they also might reach out to you on Slack just to introduce themselves, connect with you, make sure that you're on the same page of how to communicate about feedback on your assignments and all that good stuff. Okay, I think that gets me back to where I was intending to be as far as when I just randomly dropped out of the call and wasn't aware that I had dropped out of the call. So let me get back over to our orientation slide. Okay, so we've covered LearnZap, we've covered submitting assignments. Does anybody have any questions about LearnZap or submitting assignments before I move along? Nice. One other thing that I did want to mention that you all have that other classes don't, we do have little like Quizlets, I guess is the way you'd describe them, or comprehension checks. So in your assignment, there will be links for you to be able to take, it's called an ARMOR, R-M-O-R, questionnaire quiz kind of a thing. They're not graded, so don't stress yourself out about it. They are open book, but they're helpful comprehension checks just to kind of like make sure that you're absorbing what you need to absorb for the week, especially some of those big picture concepts. So do your best on them, turn them in every week. That you don't have one for the first week because there's nothing to review. So starting week 2 is when you would do your reviews of your previous week via these little quizzes. Turn those in every week and let me know if you run into any issues, if you have any questions. They're open book and they're just meant to help kind of reinforce concepts and help you with your comprehension of the concepts. Okay. So our next section is AI policy don'ts and do's, and showing you a new tool that you all have that no other new Node students before you have had access to be able to use an AI tool we have built to review your work. So to start off with, our AI policy, in case you haven't read it, even though it's kind of everywhere, is if you choose to copy code directly from AI into your project, it should be a small portion of your assignment. It should not be the entire assignment. And you must leave a comment in your code and in your assignment submission form that credits the AI tool you used and explains how you used it. The reason we want you to do this is because an experienced developer is going to use AI differently than somebody who's learning. And until you know what content you can trust from AI output, then we want you doing most of your learning yourself and having AI as almost like a teaching assistant that just checks your work. It's okay to use it in small ways to refactor, but you really need to know what it's doing and make sure that it makes sense. So if there's, an area of your code that you're like, there's probably an easier way to do this, you're welcome to kind of run that through AI, work out with it and be like, why is it suggesting for me to redo it this way? Does that make sense? So really think critically about those kinds of things. We also recommend turning off any AI-powered tools like autocomplete or Copilot. It's okay to use them, but because you're advanced class, it's a little bit more helpful for you all to use it. We definitely don't have intro students using those tools because it cheats them of learning the syntax well, understanding what their code is supposed to be doing. If they start typing out how a for loop is supposed to be and it just helps them complete it, that's not going to help cement like, why do I write it this way? What is this line of code doing? So if you do like to use it, that's fine. Just make sure you're understanding what it's doing and why it's doing it. And of course, since it's AI usage, be sure that you're citing it. Violations could get you expelled from our program. There are ways for us to be able to identify suspicions of AI misuse or abuse, and so we will confront those if they show up and make sure that you're using AI in a way that's not going to cut you off at the knees and keep you from learning. All right, the ways we do want you to use it is we have this AI review tool we have built. You are definitely welcome to use it to screen your work after you have done your work and checked your work. Then feel free to have it do another pass to check your work. It's always good to get another pair of eyes on things, even if they are artificial. And you would treat those AI tools like a teaching assistant, like I mentioned, or like a teacher. You're not going to go to a teacher and be like, give me the answers to the test or write my code for me. But you are going to say, can you explain more about what's happening in this block of code? Or, it says this was wrong. Can you tell me why it's wrong? So critical thinking about how you're using it, critical thinking about the information that it gives you is extremely important. Make sure that you're understanding what it's telling you and questioning it when it needs to be questioned, because this is not a perfect technology that's out there. So definitely consider, like, is this giving me out of date information? Is this giving me just flat out wrong information? So put on those thinking caps. Critical thinking is key. The AI reviewer, I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour of what that looks like right now. So that way you can see what it is and how it functions. You sign into it the same way you sign into the Learns app with your GitHub authentication. And then when you get there, it has different classes available, so make sure you've got Node selected. You'll pick whatever assignment you're submitting. You'll paste your pull request link in there, and then you'll click AI review. It'll let you know that it's processing it and to please wait, and then the feedback shows up over here. I have one done for the intro class, just so that way you can kind of see what it winds up looking like. Actually, I did have one done, and then let me go ahead and just do it really quick so that way you can see what happens as you're processing it. So you hit AI review after you've pasted your link in there. It's thinking about things. It'll give you some feedback here in a moment. You can mark the information as incorrect feedback. So just as I was mentioning, AI is not flawless. If something is responded to you and you're like, I know that's wrong, then you can mark it as response incorrect. You can see a history of when you've run them, as well as see whatever the link was that you submitted and what the feedback was that you got from that. And then it also has this chat feature embedded in here as well too. So if you wanted to say, explain Node and Express relationship to me in simple terms, then you can ask the AI information chat there, and it will help give you information as far as being able to research topics that maybe you're working through. So write your code, check your code, and then paste it into your Node lesson selection here, run it through and see how things go. You don't have to have AI clearing it before you submit it. So if there's still things that AI is saying are wrong, then still go ahead and submit your work when you feel comfortable, ready to submit your work, and a human reviewer will still be checking your work. But this new tool is a feature that we've added for this class that we would like for you to take advantage of and let us know if it's good or bad or in the middle. So yeah,
I got a question.
absolutely. Go ahead, Xavier.
Um, where where do we go to to the AI assignment reviewer? Because I don't know. I don't know where I should go to for the
Yeah.
AI assignment reviewer.
Yeah, I'll have the link for it in your class's Slack channel. So I'm actually jumping to Slack next, but in your class announcements channel, in the Lion Class Information tab, I'm going to be adding in a whole bunch of helpful links at the top. I just didn't get a chance to do it before our orientation today. But once I have all of this updated, it's going to look like this, where you'll have links to the dashboard, links to your class content, links to the AI assignment review tool. So anything and everything you could possibly need will be in your Lion announcements class information section in Slack.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Other questions about AI review tool or access? All right, cool. We'll keep on keeping on then. Let me jump back over to our orientation slide deck. Here we are. Okay, so as I had mentioned, Slack's up next. A lot of you are already familiar with it, but in case you aren't, I'll hit some highlights. Your class has 3 channels. The announcements channel, which is where Gina will be posting any announcements of starts of week, anything of that variety, or events to attend, that kind of thing. Discussion channel is where you all can talk amongst yourselves. The mentors will be in this channel as well too. So if you have clarifying questions about homework, or you want information about additional resources, or you just want to chat about the curriculum with your classmates or your mentors, then feel free to use the discussion channel for that. And then the L group outlet channel, which Frank, who will be your practicum leader after you graduate Node, has put a lovely picture of a lion in there for you. Then the L group outlet is for you all to just kind of socialize and network and start to get comfortable with each other, because after you graduate Node, you'll be working in small groups for the practicum portion in spring. Okay, for Slack, you can also use huddle features. So up here at the top, there's a huddles option. You can create a new huddle and invite classmates. So if you all want to get together on a call to, hash something out about homework or talk about something, or, just have a friend to chat with, then that's totally fine. You can use the huddle feature for that purpose. It's pretty straightforward, helpful, easy to use, and you can screen share on it. And you can even annotate and write on each other's screens while you're screen sharing on it too. So lots of helpful tools there. Anything associated with your Node class specifically, so questions about the content, questions about anything of that variety, use your Lion channels. You also have all channels, so all student convo, all announcements, all random. And those are channels that everybody in Code the Dream is in. So if you ask a question in all student convo, then you have intro students, React students, Python students, past graduates, future graduates, everybody's on that channel. So they'll be confused why you're asking about something for Node class in a channel where everybody is. Yeah, Alice, you've got a question. Go ahead.
Sorry. You mentioned the practicum after the class. It will be right after this class?
Yeah, so your all's class wraps up on March 10th, and then the practicum starts April 1st. So I think you have a 3-week gap between when your class ends and when practicum starts. Around week 10, let me jump back to your all's course schedule just to remind myself. But around week 10 usually is when Frank has a meeting with you all and lets you know, so middle of January, lets you know what practicum is, how it works, what that looks like, how he groups you, what you do during practicum, all of that kind of stuff. So in January, expect to get to meet Mr. Frank and all of the fun things that he'll tell you about practicum. Perfect. All right, nice. Let's see. I was working with Slack. There we go. So let me jump back over to there. Yeah, those all channels are everybody in them. So just be aware that you're saying it to everybody in Code the Dream when you're in an all channel. Okay, I think that hits the highlights for Slack. Any questions about Slack usage or where to find things in there? The biggest thing that trips up students is, toggling between class information tab to see that information in messages because it feels a little hidden from a user interface standpoint. So as long as you're in line announcements, look towards the top and you'll find what you need.
There can also be, sorry, Mary Alice, there can also be updates. So keep an eye out on announcements and the mentor schedule. Sometimes mentors will change their times or days. So if you are looking to join a group session, just double check that there's no announcement saying that they're not doing it that day, they moved their day, or if on the schedule it says for a different time.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder, Gina, 100%. And when we do mentor orientations, we do encourage mentors to post announcements when their session's getting ready to start, as well as if they have any kind of schedule changes. So yeah, check your announcements, especially on the regular for sure. Great. Okay, so moving right along, GitHub I'm not going to give you a full-on tour of because obviously you've worked with GitHub in your React class before you got in here. So you should be pretty familiar with it, but if you have any questions or need any help with that whole, push, pull request, merge workflow, then feel free to reach out to your mentors so they can kind of help cement that concept in your mind because you're going to be doing it every week. All right, so now we're going to dive into some student expectations. I'm going to rest my voice and let Gina talk to you a little bit about some of those.
All right. For student expectations, every good relationship is built on respect. So we ask everyone who is part of Code the Dream to respect each other. You only know what's on the surface for most people you meet. So be patient, treat others how you want to be treated. There's too much going on in this world, so don't bring it in our safe space at Code the Dream. We treat each other with a lot of respect. With academic integrity, it means being honest about what work is yours and what you're learning. As we've already went over about AI use to write your code. Only use it for reviewing your code that you've written. We expect academic integrity and honesty, and you can be asked to leave the program if you cheat or plagiarize. We will go over a little bit further on about that. To add to that, shortcuts on learning only shortchange yourself. Then, you want to learn to be successful and understand the concepts. You don't just want to learn how the AI is figuring things out for you. In terms of educational engagement, the only person who can learn from this is you. Be engaged in the class, take advantage of the resources we give you. If you have any questions, like I said, say it on the discussion channel, reach out to your reviewer, a mentor, or myself. Don't just let it sit there and waste too much time. Please reach out. These classes are free, so please take advantage of them. There's YouTube videos, there's a whole bunch of resources we can give you. So make sure you take advantage of all of that. If you're not understanding a certain concept, reach out to me. I can give you other resources or explain something or meet with you one-on-one. Mentors really love being involved. They love seeing how you guys learn and any breakthroughs. So reach out to them as well. Take advantage of the group sessions. The mentors really put a lot of time into planning their mentor sessions. So come prepared with questions and to learn. And lastly, you already looked at the AI policy, which goes into more details about how to use AI and cautions to be aware of. There's a link, I guess, that we're going to. This link will outline how AI in a way that supports your learning without compromising your progress. It includes helpful prompts and specific examples, as well as important information about how you can be expelled from the program if we suspect you are using AI unethically in a way that violates our policies. So make sure you read it.
Yeah, and the underlying thing throughout all of these is communicate, communicate, communicate. We don't have magic crystal balls that let us see into what's going on in your life. So if you're behind in class, if you're struggling, if you need additional support, please speak up and let us know. We want to be able to be here to help you, but if you don't tell us that you need help, then it's hard for us to, just bring that to the forefront of our mind. So please communicate throughout class. There's no such thing as over communicating. All right.
Yes. Um, all right. So what if I face challenges? Um, so we're here to help if you need to, let's see. So as you can see, you're expected to attend sessions, turn in assignments on time, and I'll be the one to remind you for all the due dates. And then once you complete your assignment, if your mentor asks you to revise it, then make sure you're completing those revisions in order for your assignments to be marked as successful. So what happens if you do fall behind a class? You need to reach out to me as soon as possible. And so we can go over what a catch-up plan is. And later on, we'll explain a little bit and go over that form as well. We want you to be successful, and the catch-up plan is really just to plan out your resources and your time so that you can plan it out rather than say, oh yeah, I'll definitely have it in by next week. It really puts it on paper and you can look back at it and successfully catch up. Um, our retaking policy has changed due to increased demand for our classes. We no longer offer automatic class retaking. If this isn't the right time for you to focus on this class, no problem. You can take a leave of absence and reapply when the time is right, and we'll be ready for you to come back. Anything else on that, Mary Alice?
I think that hits the highlights. We'll show you the catch-up plan in a few minutes. But yeah, having that sort of concrete, tangible plan for you to be able to work towards is going to be a way to help keep yourself accountable. It's really easy for me to be like, oh, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, and then I never actually get to it. So the catch-up plan is to kind of help guide you and keep you out of that rut of I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, and then you never get to it, and then you have like 18 weeks worth of work to do in 2 weeks time, and yeah, so that's the purpose of that one.
Yes. So how do I ask for help? You can look online. You really want to Google, use Stack Overflow, use other materials other than AI to really look into what is the issue. You can look at the documentation for Node, see examples. They actually have really good documentation, so you can look on that. And then whenever you're asking for help, whether you're reaching out to a reviewer, me, or the discussion channel, you really don't want to just put out a vague question like, I didn't get week 13. You really want to be specific. If you want to screenshot it, if you want to paste the exact error you got, I'm sure somebody else in your class has gone through the same thing and they could let you figure it out, or your reviewer can look into it. But definitely communicate and ask for help. All right. So what will help me thrive? Um, it's definitely planning it out. Like I said, the weeks fly by, even though we do get 2 weeks of a break for this cohort. It goes by really fast and the concepts are really heavy. So plan it out. If you have extra time and the first few weeks are a little too easy, go ahead and move along to the next one. Don't wait until I give you the go ahead. You guys can go right ahead and go, as far as you want. And then following your study plan and making sure you're fitting in at least 15 hours a week, definitely. Because there's a lot of concepts you're going to be Googling, and there will be some errors and things like that you'll run into, especially when we start creating APIs. It's fun, but it definitely can get challenging. All right.
Yeah, it's hard to remember to give yourself time for like research or error handling, but it's definitely something that's needed in class for sure.
Yeah. Um, what about short-term issues and what makes you fall behind? Like we said, make a plan, work ahead. If you know that you're taking a vacation or you're going to be away longer for the holidays, make sure you plan ahead. Let me know if you won't be turning in an assignment on time so that I am aware and I can help you catch up when you come back. Or if you want to work ahead, that's great too. And then, so we'll go over what the catch-up plan is. It is a form. Mary Alice, do you have it?
Yep, I
The
sure
form?
do.
Okay. If we can share that, that'd be great.
It's a pretty short form. You'll select your name in class, select Gina as your cohort leader. And it's just helping you kind of think through like, what are my challenges? Is this, a technical challenge basis where like I'm not understanding the concepts and that's why I'm struggling with it? If so, there are resources available. Make sure that you're utilizing those. If it's not about that at all and it's, life is getting in my way because I got sick, my family's sick, something happened, something's come up, then that's totally fine. And it helps you kind of think through like, okay, I can get lesson 3 done in the next 2 days. I can get lesson 4 done if I give myself 3 or 4 days of time after that. And like just giving you really concrete plans so that it's not always this, running around forever playing catch up kind of a situation. Even if you make a catch up plan and you can't stick to it, then we'll talk about that too in our next slide. That happens, I'd say probably about a third to half of students in every class tend to have something come up like this, where it's like, I just, things got away from me. Something about my life has changed and I can't do this anymore. And that's totally okay. That happened to me when I was a student. I had some family circumstances. I had to step away from classes for a semester or two and then come back. And that's completely fine. That's normal. You're in a group of a lot of people under those circumstances because it happens a lot. So it's just a way for you to be able to think through and sort of plan constructively about how am I going to get back on track? Or do I need to just go ahead and step back, take a breath, take care of myself, take care of my people, and then come back when I'm ready for it? Let me jump back over to
Yes.
the slide deck.
I will be reaching out to fill out this catch-up plan, but do not wait on filling it out if you're like 4 or 5 weeks behind. It really is hard to catch up with these lessons.
Yeah, it's easier to
Uh,
do a little sprint and get yourself caught up than have to do a marathon to get yourself back on track for sure.
exactly. So if I think we're on the next one, the petition to retake.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so leave of
So,
absence is just the stepping back from class.
mhm.
Dropping from class, if you're dropped from class because we don't hear from you, we don't see you turning in work, we don't see you attending mentor sessions, then we'll mark you as dropped from class if we aren't hearing from you for 2 weeks. And if you're dropped from class, you can't re-enter the class, but you can petition to retake, which is what our next slide kind of covers.
Yeah, so um, in specific circumstances that are short term, and you will definitely come back in the next cohort, you can petition to retake. Like, let's say you struggled towards the end and you really wanted to finish a cohort, but things got in the way and you really want to finish it off in the next cohort, just you can a petition to retake. It doesn't guarantee, but you can definitely fill it out and you would have to redo the whole class, but it'll get you in there
Yeah, and even if you do a
registered.
leave of absence and you're not sure when that life situation is going to resolve, then it's okay. We're not planning on going anywhere. We have excellent people in our fundraising department to make sure that we are equipped to be able to maintain the status quo and continue running. So you can come back at any point. Like failing a class, having to do a leave of absence, being dropped from a class isn't, blacklisting you from ever coming back. You can come back whenever you're like, hey, life's finally settled down. Now I have time. You can reapply. If it's a recent, like it happened now, I'll be able to come back next term, then you can petition to retake. Leave of absences if it's like an unknown or if there's a gap before you'd be able to come back. Petition to retake is more like, I know I can do this next term. No questions about it. Cool. I think think that
Cool.
covered everything. Anything that we haven't covered, Gina, that you want to kind of highlight for our students tonight?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
Um,
We have a little resources recap. Did you want me to cover it, Gina, or did you want to hit any of these highlights?
I actually have a couple things to mention before we go into tools. I forgot that before as you were talking. Whenever you're submitting your assignments, I wanted to make it clear whenever you do your revisions and your reviewer gets it, there is a link in the email that you resubmit with, and that will get you back into your reviewer screen as the revision. So just make sure you keep an eye on that email. If you don't get anything, let us know. And then as the first few weeks while you're looking and forking the repo, just make sure whenever you create that first pull request, you're directing it towards your own forked repo, not the CTD repo. It happens many times, but I'll be reminding you. You can always put a branch protection on your own repo so that you don't have to deal with it for the rest of the cohort. And just every time you create a pull request, it'll create it on your own rather than CTD. But just keep an eye on where your pull requests are directed at. Um, and I just wanted to mention about taking advantage of the mentor sessions. Mentors really do put a lot of time into meeting with you and creating the group sessions and planning out their coding assignments during those sessions. So please take advantage. They want you to be successful. That's what they're here for. So really take advantage of that while you're in this class.
They are really excited. I was part of the mentor orientation earlier this week, and the mentors are like, I'm so excited. I get to meet my students. I was like, I know, calm down. Class hasn't started yet, but yes, you will be able to meet your students. So don't make them feel lonely. They're here for you. Don't make them feel lonely. I also wanted to just kind of add some clarification for that resubmit process. So when you turn in your homework, then your reviewer gets a notification and it shows up on their LearnZap dashboard so they know to review it. If they mark that the assignment needs revisions, like you haven't quite met what you need to be doing for that assignment, when they mark that it needs revisions, you'll get an email on the email you have with us saying your reviewers reviewed your assignment, it needs revisions. And there's a link in that email saying you can use this link to resubmit. This past term, then I developed a form that kind of pares down your submission form to just the nuts and bolts. So that way you're not having to answer all those, how long did it take you? And was this an easy or a hard week? And all of those kinds of questions on your resubmit form. So using the resubmit form is an easy way for you to be able to just be like, yep, I did my work to fix the fixes I need to fix. Here's the link. I'm resubmitting it. Here you go. So that was the sort of shortcut resubmit process that Gina was talking about. And yeah, for the pull request part, the biggest key is the link that you're submitting in your assignment submission form. Make sure it doesn't say Code the Dream School anywhere in it. If it does, then you did your pull request wrong. So those are the two things I just wanted to kind of pile on and highlight for you. Okay, so your resource tools, we talked about Zoom, we talked about Google Meet or Slack huddles for one-on-one sessions. So pay attention to when you schedule a one-on-one session, it should let you know in the email. If it doesn't clarify, like we're meeting on Gmeet, use this link to meet, something like that. Just reach out to the person that you scheduled with on Slack and say, hey, I don't know how we're meeting. How are we going to meet for this one-on-one session? Slack has those announcements, discussion, and outlet channels. And then GitHub's where all of your work is. Ignore the week 5+. I forgot to take that out when I was copying bits and pieces of orientations over. That's just for the intro students. You use GitHub all the time. The LearnZap, again, ignore the part about coding assignments for week 1 through 4. All of your coding happens in GitHub and you have coding assignments every single week. And then the AI assignment review tool, of course, is available to you this course. People, as Gina already highlighted, use your mentors. They are here for you. So the one-on-one gallery to be able to schedule with them. If you need to cancel last minute, let them know. For group sessions, if somebody's not showing up to their scheduled group session, check the announcements. Make sure that it wasn't like a, hey guys, I'm not going to be able to do my session this day, this time, this week. And then if there aren't any announcements like that, feel free to ping them, especially early on in the class. It's a new routine for everybody. So it's easy to be like, oh, that's right, I start my class tonight. So feel free to ping them in Slack and just be like, hey, we're all in the Zoom room waiting for your group session to start. Let us know if you have mentors that no show on you for one-on-ones or group sessions, because we need to make sure that they aren't having an issue with like accessing their tools and being able to do what they're supposed to be doing on their end. So just let us know if there's a problem that arises with that. Assignment reviewers, you'll be able to see who your assignment reviewer is. I'll have a link in your class information tab so that way you can see who you're assigned to for review. They should be in touch with you just to introduce themselves, but you can also reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm one of your students. It won't be until closer to the start of class. So like November 10th, 11th, 12th is when you'll see who your reviewer is, because we're still getting them trained and onboarded and all that good stuff. And then of course your wonderful cohort leader that you can reach by Slack anytime. And that hits our highlights. So question and answer time. If you have questions, ask them. No questions means no answers. You do need to attend one group session, just to reiterate what was in the chat. You do need to attend one group session per week. If schedule-wise you can't make any of the group sessions, then you need to schedule a one-on-one session. If you can't make one-on-one sessions or group sessions, we do have recordings of past sessions. You should take a look at those. And you definitely need to let Gina know if you are not attending a mentor synchronous session of a group or one-on-one variety for a week. Anything else burning in your minds?
There's a question in the chat.
Yes, yeah. So if you aren't able to pass this course, you can retake the course. You would use that petition to retake. And we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. Obviously have that growth mindset and think positive that yes, this will be fine. But yeah, if you need to retake the course, that's fine. It's not uncommon for students to need to have a little more time to work with some of these more advanced concepts. And so that's okay. And you probably wouldn't be the only one retaking, and that's totally fine too. We usually have anywhere from like 2 or 3 to like 15 or 20 retakers in any given class, or at least that's how it's been over the past several cohorts I've worked with. So but we're still finalizing the group session times and dates. They'll be posted in that table that we showed you on the class information tab. They are to be determined right now, but we should have them ready for you by the time the class starts. Reed Russum is our volunteer and data director for classes team. And so he's getting everybody set up with all of their tools and access points and all of that kind of thing for mentors, and confirming when they want to have their group sessions. He also takes a look at the availability that you all shared with us when you registered, to see are there pockets of time that we especially need to have mentors available on. So we're finalizing all of that, but as we get closer to the official class start date of November 12th, then that'll be a little more set in stone.
I'll also be posting some office hours before we officially start. If you have any questions then, or you can always message me on Slack as well.
Same here. But if you schedule with me, don't ask me questions about node setup or app instantiation or anything of that variety, because it has been too long since I have actually been coding. Yeah, for your own sakes, you don't want to ask me technical questions. I think that hits the highlights. One thing that I did want to just have on the horizon for you all, I had mentioned about, middle of January, you'll meet with Frank and he'll talk to you about practicum. In 2026, we are trying to shift to a quarterly schedule, both to be able to have more condensed classes, so that way people can get through their classes more quickly, as well as to kind of fit a more stable schedule, because we have to do a lot of grant reporting for grants that help fund us. Then we have to let them know as far as like how many student graduates do we have over a particular period of time. So we're trying to do a quarterly system where we have 11-week courses. We'll have 4 11-week courses throughout the year. We'll be starting that in spring of 2026. So the spring classes that start April 1st will be 11-week courses. So if you do find yourself needing to retake Node, you will be working with a slightly different curriculum, a much improved curriculum, in my opinion. Not that this won't get you what you need information-wise for Node, but it's going to be a little bit more palatable in the 11-week instance of it, rather than just kind of several videos of absorbing content. So the 11-week classes will begin in April, and that's whether you're doing practicum, whether you're retaking Node, whether you decide to go in a completely different direction and start taking our Python classes, whatever. All of our classes across the board will be 11 weeks beginning April 1st of 2026. There is a winter break that will be from December 24th to December 30th. You'll see that reflected in your class calendar when you jump into your Lion class on the 3rd when it's open. I think that hits everything. I'll still hang around in case anybody has other questions, but if you feel like this has covered all of your questions and answers, then have an excellent evening and an excellent weekend.